But hello, my name's Roman Dixon. 26 years old, and I'm a weirdo. Oh man, yes, I'm a weirdo. And this is my co-host today. Her name is.
My name's SyAfekt. I'm 3 years old, and I'm an artist, and I'm just here to give out all my creative ideas and hope it inspires all you other people that's watching this.
So yeah, that's the main thing. We're here to inspire, talk about some real stuff from our personal perspectives, and we hope that it brings light to some things that you were going through, helps you through some things that you were struggling with, and just encourages you to not give up, because we all know that everyone's going through something, and a lot of people are either too shy to speak about it or don't have anyone to talk to, so yeah. What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about healing and the reason for healing. Once you healed, everything comes to you. You become comfortable and you're not scared. Fear is like the number one thing that stops us from doing what we want, doing what our calling is. So today we're going to be talking about healing. And so, Roman, how do you feel about healing? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when healing comes?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind when healing comes is like a physical hurt. Like someone maybe accidentally bumping into you, or even you falling down when learning to ride a bike. You scrape your arms, you scrape your elbows, and at that time, especially when you fall off your bike or something, you get these scratches and they take time to heal. You put a Band-Aid over and you put some, Neosporin if you need it, say you're going too fast, just like sleep. Put that Neosporin over, make sure it's nice and clean, and then a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks, it's all better. It's got a scab over it, and you're able to move freely. And then eventually, that scab comes off. So that's how healing works, not only physically, but emotionally, as well as spiritually. Because a lot of people out here, they're hurt from different churches, they're hurt from relationships, and they don't heal. And they're like, why am I still feeling this type of way with future relationships, future family members, and it's because they didn't take the steps or the time to heal. But I think the real question is, how do we start the process of healing? So how do you start the process of healing?
Well, to me, you have to look at what hurts you. You have to look at what's causing you to keep you away from certain stuff. Like, for example, this is like the perfect example. Like, when you're healing out of a relationship, moving forward, you're going to be scared to enter new ones. So now you're creating that wall, and you're going to potentially miss that good relationship that you've been asking for, that you've been praying for. And
the question was, how do you actually start the process of healing?
So, okay. You got to start asking yourself questions like, what is it that hurt me? What is it that I'm scared of? What is it that I want? So when you're asking yourself, how do I heal? You have to isolate yourself first. So that means you have to figure out what you want, your dislikes, and what you want to attract to you. That's the only thing. So like when you heal, a lot of stuff is going to be coming to you that hurt you in the past before. So that's when you have to start creating boundaries. You have to start creating. I'm losing my spot.
Honestly, I agree with pretty much everything you're saying, but I think you're missing a very vital piece, and that's forgiveness. Because people will always be like, I'll forgive but never forget. But the real thing is, if you forgive someone, you shouldn't have to remember what they've done to you, in all honesty. What's the point in holding on to that memory? It's a painful memory. Why would you keep something that hurts you? That's like having, what's it called? Like getting, poked by a pine needle, right? And you remove the pine needle, but you place it somewhere else in your skin. It still hurts. Why keep it? And it's not just the forgiveness of the other person. You have to forgive yourself, because it takes two to tango, honestly. Whether, you instigated it or agitated that person initially, whether it was intentional or unintentional, you still played a role. Or even if you fed into what they were saying, they could have been, just coming at you sideways, and then, like, you got to forgive them and also forgive yourself. But that's like a more of an internal kind of healing, and that's the kind of healing that God gives us. He heals us, and you can't get that kind of healing without God and without forgiving yourself or forgiving others. Because God's like, if you don't forgive other people, I'm not going to forgive you. So it's like a hand in hand thing. We definitely have to heal physically, set those boundaries, because if we don't set those boundaries, people are just going to come back and do the same thing. You have to learn from the things that hurt, but it all starts with forgiveness,
Okay. Well, just to pick up what you said, yes, that is right. You have to heal spiritually, mentally, and physically. And all those three things comes with just knowing and understanding yourself. And the key thing is you have to learn how to trust yourself. That intuition is the number one thing that can really help you and guide you to the path, and to keep you away from certain situations, certain people, to help keep you from not being broken or not being down again. Once you trust yourself, like that is, you become like this unstoppable, because now that trust is a spiritual and it's like a mental thing too as well. Like, and like once you, if you keep doubting yourself, how can I put this? Like every time you keep doubting yourself, it's like you're hurting yourself at the end.
And so how do you get to a place of where you trust in yourself, in all honesty? Because I feel like the people that watch this, they're going to be like, oh yeah, but how? How can I trust myself? How can I get there,
Well, I would say this, you have a brain, right?
I would hope so.
Yes, and you're smart, right? You understand what not to do, what to do, and everything.
Yeah, I know wrong from right.
That's the first step, knowing wrong from right. And not being easily persuaded. If you know you don't do something, or that's against your religion, or that's just against who you are, then don't do it. That's like number one thing of trusting yourself.
So what's a good example?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to relationships again.
Okay.
So within trusting yourself, let's say your parents, for instance, your parents are supposed to be the people that's your first role models. But in some of our cases, our parents are not our role model. Our parents can either be a teacher, or they can just be a lesson. And so when we look at our parents, we say to ourselves, I don't want to be nothing like them, because that's not the person you want to be in your future.
Yeah, I found myself saying that, kind of recently, actually. Like, I love him. I love him to death, but I don't want to be like my dad, I don't want to be in the situations that he's in or been through. He's taught me a lot, but I don't want to be there. I want to avoid those pitfalls. I know I'm human. I'm still going to make mistakes, but I don't want to go that route,
So that's the thing, too. Like, once every day you enter a journey, and so you may see or talk to people that may resemble your parents. And so you think to yourself, this is not what I want, because I don't want this person. I don't want to be. As a matter of fact, like once you start dating, that's like a mirror. That's your reflection, and you have the power to know what you want to look at. Like every day in the mirror, you wake up, you see yourself, and you tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm a king, I'm a queen, I am this, I am that, I am X, Y, and Z. But you look at someone else that's trying to, get with you, trying to date you, but you don't see yourself in them. That's not the mirror you want to look at. And so that's where the trust comes in. Like, I'm going to trust myself to walk away from this person, because that's not me. That's not my reflection I want to look at.
Facts, but what if that person may not be where you're at or what you want to see, but they're trying to get there? Like, for me, I know that I want to date a Christian woman that loves God more than she loves me. And she's willing to pray for me, pray with me, and help me when I'm down, and me help her when she's down. But it's like, what if they're not fully there yet? They're not on that level, but they're striving to get there. What about that? Like, do you still be like, I'm gonna walk away, or should you stay, stick it out, thug it out with them?
I believe that you have a choice. You can give them their space. Like, you can still talk to them, check up on them, hey, how you doing? But you can still give them their space. You don't have to invest everything into them soon. I believe that, in my opinion, we have to, if you're building somewhere, if you're trying to like reach something, yeah, you can ask for help, but all that is like a journey for yourself, like an alone journey.
Yeah.
And so because when you start, you're not going to be the same person once you get to your goal.
Right.
You have to strip yourself down in so many levels to get to your goal. You're not going to be the same. So with your question, going back to your question, I would say just give them space and see how they go. You don't have to jump in anything too quickly.
Okay. I feel that. Oh man, that's interesting. I like that take. I do like that take. Oh man, she over here teaching me some lessons.
Yeah, like when we always enter, matter of fact, like the dating scene, we're always so quick to jump into something. Like, I understand that's another thing too. Like, let's say you meet someone and have you ever felt that spark, like, oh damn, this person may be the one, like that? What's it called? The like true love at first sight.
Yeah.
Love at first sight. I said true love at first sight. And so with that, it's like that can really be like a lesson that you feel. Well, that could be like a lesson because once you feel that, that person could be, like I said, in your life for a lesson or a blessing. And in most of the cases, it's a lesson because now a lot of things are coming out that you haven't even seen or feel before when you're dating this person. And to them, a lot of things that you're showing could be stuff that they never seen or tasted before, and they don't know how to react, how to feel about that. So that's where like the tug of war comes in, because now depends on like where their roots come from. They're probably used to like, you know, toxicity. They're not used to genuine, respectable love, or like vice versa. And so once that feeling ends, it's like now you sit back and just decompress and understand everything that just came to you.
Right.
And you just see that what that person would explain is not what I wanted, it's not what I needed, or they taught you a lot to your next journey, to your next cycle of the next person that you're going to interact with or meet in the future.
Yeah. Like, not to jump into something so quickly, you know, but to like take your time and genuinely get to know someone. You know, like, be friends before anything else. You know, because at the end of the day, like, being someone's friend more times than not shows you who they are. You know, unless they're just, you know, like, I'm gonna hide myself until they ask me out. You know, like, some people are like that. You know, they're literally just like, I'm not gonna show my true self for like 13 years. You know, and people be friends for like that long and be like, oh yeah, I know this person, but they truly don't know who they're really dealing with. Like, their outside looks all shiny, but their inside is like a pile of dirt, dust, and muck. You know, so I think that's an important reason why we need to ask God to show us the heart and the intentions of those we're trying to be friends with and be in relationships with, like, for real. And then, like, kind of to bring in what you said to me, like, a couple weeks ago, like, sometimes we just need to be still, like, and know that it's not time for a relationship or a new friendship. Like, just be like, I need to focus on myself, you know, because some people are just like, all right, I just gotten out of a relationship. It ain't even been 2 days. I'm already talking to somebody else. I'm like, dang, like, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, at least in my opinion, like, if I break up with you or you break up with me and you already talking to someone, I'm like, dang, like that low key hurts me, because I'm like, did I even really matter to you? Like, what's going on here? Like, okay, then I gotta get myself together, you know. But like, sheesh. And like, in that kind of situation, like, because you are hurt from the breakup, and then you get a double dose of hurt because they've already, in a sense, moved on, you know, like, if you don't take the time for yourself, you're gonna be like, bruh, I'm gonna go look for someone else now. And then it's like, you haven't allotted yourself that proper time to
That means
heal.
they're scared to be by themselves. They're scared to be alone. Like once you're alone, you see all the dark side.
Facts.
But like what you with someone else, they take that. What's the word? They take
That loneliness.
Yeah, they take that. They're like a distraction from trying to fix yourself. You know, they're really like a distraction. Like you're focused on them. They're taking you away from yourself, and it's like, and then it's like a cycle. Like once they ended with you, you're back at square one again. Like you're with yourself, and now you're trying to find someone else that's going to distract you from yourself. So that's just to say they're just scared to be by themselves.
So that's when they really need to take time and heal.
But they have to want that.
Facts. They have to want it, like, because if you can always lead the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. And sometimes that's what certain relationships are meant to be. Like y'all might not even be dating, y'all just might be like close friends, or even like, let's see if this will work out kind of thing. But you're there to like show them something about themselves. Like I remember one young lady I was interested in, she didn't want to acknowledge that certain sins were sins. She's like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, didn't Jesus say it was a sin back then? Yeah. So it's still a sin today. No, it's not. I'm like, isn't God the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Yeah. Okay then. If he said it's a sin back then, it's a sin today. Yeah, like his word don't change. Like it just don't. And once I realized like that I was telling her this, but she wasn't receiving it. She was hearing me, but not listening to me. I had to take a step back and be like, if I try to pursue a relationship with her, what about other things that we don't fully agree on? Like, is she just going to hear me, or is she actually going to listen? Like, bro, like, you don't seem to want to grow in certain areas of your walk, so you're not necessarily what I'm looking for. I got to get myself together. Like you can't force anyone to heal.
And I totally agree. And the fact that how you were like asking yourself those questions, it's what we need to do. Like especially like in the ages, but you really see it in people in our age groups, like in our 20s.
Yeah.
We don't really sit down and ask ourselves questions. We don't analyze ourselves. We just, oh, I'm hurt. I want someone to fix it. Like we're asking for someone to fix it, but we need to fix it ourselves. Like we're alone with ourselves 24/7 every day and night. Like there's no cut in between. People may come in your circle. You're your own character, your own book. The people in your story could be your characters. Some could be sidelines, some could be main characters, but you're always going to be by yourself. And you have to learn how to fix and handle ourselves. I don't want to use the words fix because it comes with time. We're not just broken machines.
No, we're not. But I do like the word fix because like there are things that needs to be fixed. Like handyman, when you like a plumber, for example. When you call a plumber, there's something that's wrong. You call a plumber to specifically, whether it's your toilet, a burst pipe, anything. They come to fix that part, that problem. When there's a problem within us, we need to understand that there are things that we need to do to fix, people that we need to call. And that main first person should be Jesus. That we call for real. Like, because he's the one that created us. He can help us fix it. He can fix it. Sometimes he wants us to take steps to get closer to him so that he can fix it. Other times he's just going to be like, all right, cool, I'm going to bring you out of this situation. Because you need that help. You need that experience. Other times he's going to take a step back and be like, you ain't listened to what I said, so now you're going to deal with it. Because we don't listen.
I want to add something too, and another thing is too, we try to have other people adapt to us when honestly we're the problem in the relationship. Right. Like for example, sometimes we don't even see like our flaws. Mm-hmm. And that's where like it's like subconsciously we don't see it. Like you can be very controlling, you can be mean, have a nasty mouth, and you would want someone to just deal with it. Like, you need to fix that, because now if you want me to deal with it, then that's where like a cycle begins. It's like how to put this. I don't know the word. It's like it creates something for the other person, and now you're creating something for yourself. Like
a facade? Something that's not really real. It's like there, but it's not really there.
That's not what I want. It's like, I'm just giving an example. So let's say it's not coming out, but it's right there. It's like, I don't know the word for it.
Be like that sometimes.
It just creates another cycle. And it's like, okay, let's say a boy, for instance, he's trying to date a girl, but this girl is, she has her head right, she's got everything going for her,
Right.
And the dude is, still trying to get himself up there, still trying to get himself in order financially, everything, and he has these traits that are not healthy. They're like, they're toxic. Yes, they're very toxic. And so he's trying to pursue the girl, and now he's trying to like manipulate her. Just, he'll do or say anything to get her. And so with that, in her perspective, she may see like, oh, he's definitely trying. Oh, yeah, he really likes me, X, Y, and Z. But in his perspective, it's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get her. I'm trying to just take her out, do what I want to do, like with you. And so in his mindset, he thinks he's good, but like he's really not. Like he's using all of these traits, these tricks to get her, and so it doesn't work out. And so now in her perspective, she's going to see every dude that's like that as, oh, he's really interested in me and everything, but it keeps being the same way. Toxic, it fails, and she gets damaged and hurt every single time. And in the dude's perspective, none of the relationships are working too, because he's toxic, he's showing all this stuff, he's manipulating all these females, and not seeing me, he can't find the one. But really, he just needs to change himself. Does that make sense?
No,
I didn't know the word for it.
No, it makes sense. And also, like, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, the female might have that perspective, or she might be like, oh, all dudes are just terrible. I'm not dating dudes anymore. Like, especially, like, if he used that to try to get with her sexually. Like, and the dude may be like, hey, bro, I just hit, bro. Like, and that was his goal, in all honesty. I feel like it can go either way, depending on the true intentions of both parties. Because the girl could have her head on straight. The guy could come and shoot all his game, shoot his shot and everything. But if she's really in tune with herself and God, a lot of that stuff ain't gonna fly regardless.
That's where the trust comes in, especially like females. Like you have to have a very strong mindset, especially dealing with dudes that are like
in this
are
day
not
and age.
are not, I guess, up to your standards. Like every dude is gonna like come holler at you, but you have to have a very strong mindset and trust yourself. Like, that's not what I want, I'm going to let it leave, I'm going to close the door and another one is going to open. That's better. If that doesn't work, I'm going to close that door and another one is going to open. You have to learn how to trust yourself and honestly understand what you want, you're going to get, regardless of like, you have to, you're not going to, regardless of like, how they be saying, you're not going to find any man because you're not trying.
Okay.
No, that's just not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for. Especially if you have that strong mindset where like you see everything out that's on the table, like, okay, I don't want this. You're not the type for me. I'm not going to try with you because I already see it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Like, and I find that interesting. Like, you can have all the trust in yourself, but at the end of the day, it genuinely boils down to your relationship with Christ. Because we can't do anything in our own strength. For real, no matter how much we try, we gonna mess it up. We gonna do something that's just either out of pocket, not right, say something, think a certain way. Like, we have to be deeply rooted in Christ, like, just to be able to make it. Like, that's where the trust, the healing, like, it's every facet in our life that we have to be like really tied in and locked in with it. Because like I spent a lot of my life, you know, running from God, honestly. You know, like, and I would wonder why certain things were happening, what's going on, you know, how can I get through this? You know, even though God never left me, don't get me wrong, he's always been there. I just never let him operate in me, you know, and he was just like, hey, wait, I'm here, I can fix that. Oh, you don't want me to fix it? All right, I'll come back tomorrow. And he did that for a long time, you know, until I was ready to let him in. You know, and when I let him in, like, my eyes started to be open to things. I started to, you know, be able to control different things that I went through, my emotions, you know. And if you don't have that relationship with him, it's not even about, you know, being a Christian or anything. It's genuinely having that relationship with Jesus Christ and knowing within your heart that he died on that cross and rose on that third day. You know, not for himself, but for us. You know, he did it for us. You know, if you don't have that, you're genuinely going to have hell on earth more times than not.
Okay, so that's interesting you said that, but that's another topic for a different, you know, video that we can get really deep into. But what you're saying was good. As we're ending, is there like any tips you want to give to our fellow youth or just anyone in general about just the healing stage and any key points you want to make?
My main thing when it comes to healing is you have to be willing to forgive. If you don't forgive, how can you expect someone else to forgive you? Because you ain't perfect. You know, if I slap you, you know, I'm like, I'm sorry. You know, but I ain't forgive Billy Bob that, you know, like kicked me in the shin when I was 5. You know, how can I expect you to forgive me here? You know, I didn't extend that same courtesy. You know, it doesn't work. Like, you genuinely reap what you sow. If you sow unforgiveness, you're going to get back unforgiveness. If you sow forgiveness, joy, tenderness, mercy, you're going to get that back from different people. You know, that's just how, you know, it works in our lives. Now, what about you? What's some tips you got for the youth, maybe for the ladies, you know? Maybe you got some gems to stay away from some of these weirdo dudes?
All I'm going to say is just don't lose yourself in the process, in the healing process. We may go through stuff that just hurts us, damages us so bad, and it changes you. So you could be a nice, loving, caring person and you love to give, but that one incident where it's like something happened, it's like, damn, I don't want to give no more, you know. F everyone, F love. Like, you shouldn't say that, because now you're attracting what you don't want. So once you still have a good, kind, caring heart and you let nothing break you, everything is going to come to you, and you just feel so much better knowing that that person or anything didn't hurt you, they didn't change you. Because honestly, once they change you, that means they had all the power in the world just all over you. And so that's my biggest take that I want to give to you guys. Don't let nothing change your character. If you know you're a good, caring person, continue to be a good, caring person regardless of who hurt you or who's trying to use you or anything. You just got to learn how to set boundaries and learn how to
Hey, I mean, honestly, I just want to piggyback and just say, just trust God, honestly. Like, honestly, that's what it boils down to. And a lot of people, like, for some of these people that are going to watch this and listen to it, it might fly over their head the first time because they aren't there yet, you know. But for the people that are tapped in, it's really going to ring true and touch something, you know, out there. You know, it's definitely going to be life-changing for some. You know, we have to remember, just like our pastor said today, we have power, you know, and we have to remember that we have that power. So we have to speak in a way that is adequate. You know, we can't be saying, you know, oh, bump this, bump that, you know, I'm not going to give, you know. Like, that person doesn't have power over you. You have power. So speak a life to yourself. Speak that life to yourself. Even when your situation don't look the best, speak that life to yourself. It'll help.
Oh yes, for real. and just being honest with yourself, being honest with other people, being honest with God, just being honest. There's no need to lie, be deceitful, anything. Honesty is key.
Yeah. Because if you ain't gonna be honest, shoot, at the end of the day, you ain't gonna get the help that you want. Because you just lying to yourself. But I think that's all we got for today.
Yes, this was a great topic, great discussion.
Yeah.
Please tune in. There's going to be more videos coming soon. And thank you guys for all watching.
Y'all be easy, be breezy. God loves you. We love you. Have a great day. Peace.